Do I look right here? Okay. My name is Gavin Rawl.
My name is Adam Williams.
My name is Ben Schreiber.
My name is Raven Goodwin, and I was a CSOU intern at Woodard and Curran.
It all started when I went to career fair at Montana Tech, and I met this man. His name was Michael. And he seemed super charismatic, he seemed super friendly, and immediately we struck up a conversation.
I first met Michael at the Montana Tech Career Fair, where he introduced me to the job.
So I needed a job, so I went to a career fair. I actually didn't meet Michael yet. I met Caleb, who was very energetic. And it wasn't the first time I met Caleb. This is just the first time I've gotten an interview with these guys. And I don't remember a lot of the interview. I remember Michael and David kind of bullying each other throughout of it, and it just kind of, let me know that it was gonna be okay. It was gonna be a good job.
In the interview, I walked in, he asked me, what my favorite cheese was, which, caught me a little bit off guard. Then I realized he's just trying to break the ice, make it a little less awkward, a little bit stressful, how interviews can be.
Well, we set up an interview like anyone normally would do for any of this type of stuff. And then during the interview, he was super funny. He treated me like a person, like an individual, rather than just a normal employee. He asked a question about what my favorite animal was, rather than immediately getting into the brass tacks about my experience as an engineer. And that struck a chord. And that right then, I knew I was hooked.
But Michael seemed pretty enthusiastic about me joining the job. And so I thought, why not?
The job, I spent 2 weeks in an office with no windows, with HAZWOPER safety.
We then spent the next week with our best friend, Safety Seymour, on the 40-hour HAZWOPER training. I still have his face ingrained in my brain every single time he asks us a question. If we get it right, he praises us, with a little okay sign or a little thumbs up. And if we get it wrong, you can tell he's not mad, he's just disappointed.
I still hear Safety Seymour just yelling at me for not paying attention to some parts. Was it?
After the 40-hour HAZWOPER, once I finished the absolute grind of the 10-hour days of just staring at a computer all day, I finally got to go out into the field. And then it all came back to me. My grandma telling me about these gnomes that just lived in the grass and the curbs.
So then we got to the actual job itself. Right when we got in, we immediately got bombarded with all sorts of safety things. There was this thing called a white hat.
I read a couple TRAs, learned safety. So it feels like safety is just ingrained. It's embedded. I wouldn't be surprised in those 2 weeks I got a chip that just whispers safety to me. So that's all I can think about anymore.
As the summer progressed, the other three kept getting called into Nicole's office, mostly by surprise, to be interviewed for something. I don't know.
One day, we got back to the office after a day of work, and as I was sitting on the couch in Michael's office, looking at samples, checking the chain, Michael came in and said those fateful words.
Gavin, Nicole's office, white hat test, now.
White hat test, Nicole's office, now.
White hat test, now.
And about a week after each interview, they all came back and they each had a white hat. What's up with that? Where's mine?
I spent 30 minutes driving, terrified, not knowing a single answer to the questions, till I got there. And then the safety just did its thing in my brain, and I got one. Got a white hat.
Then I got on the job, right? And we were digging holes, so many holes.
We thought it was supposed to be something simple. Go into a yard, dig a hole, sample the hole, move on. But it was so much worse.
The lawns, the backyards.
I thought we only had to poke 1 or 2 holes. Sometimes you have to put 8 in a single component.
Like, what's up with that? Like, it's absurd. It's just like, why is this necessary, Anaconda? Like, please just be nice to us for once.
So while we were digging alleys, every now and then we'd have an additional member on the crew that would come from someone else or somewhere else.
You know, we were doing alleys and we got another crew member. Me and Ben called him Gavin. It was like a possession of some sort. He was obsessed with safety. He was obsessed with a spud bar. He was just always there, just creeping and almost scary. But like when things go wrong, Gavin's there. He's always there.
So the other crew members mentioned a Gavin. Do you have any idea what this is?
Gavin? I've never heard of a Gavin before. Safety! Spooner! Safety! Holes! Safely!
But he would simultaneously build and tear down the team morale. It's weird. Again, I don't know how to describe it. You just have to see it for yourself.
No judgment, just rage!
So you hated it?
Oh, no, I loved it. It was great. It was awesome. I mean, it was a little tiring and hot and sometimes lightning, but it was awesome.
Yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed having a bunch of people around all summer that were actually very fun to hang out with, and also having a boss that was also an amazing individual.
I love the job, actually. I loved my coworkers. They're all hilarious, and you know, it was a lot of fun. We were laughing a lot. It was hot out, and you know, we just had like a sense of we're all here, we're all gonna make it work, and we're gonna have fun doing it. And we did. It was a lot of fun.
It was a blast. We loved it. It was fun. My coworkers were incredible to work with. We had an amazing team chemistry. I don't think we had a single problem outside of, you know, the occasional bad garden hole or shutdowns or delaying in work.
I mean, the crew was a blast. I mean, the laughs just kept rolling. It was like a continuous take. And, I mean, what's not to love? I mean, you got to drink a ton of water. You got a little tan on your neck. Nowhere else, because I mean, you're fully covered. But I mean, it was amazing. It was so fun. Michael was cool. Raven was cool. Ben was awesome. Gavin. I mean, whatever. Gavin, he was cool. And, I mean, it was a great summer.
The iPad, I hated it at first, but then I ended up, you know, really enjoying just going around. I took a lot of pictures on the iPad and on my phone. There was just really neat stuff around Anaconda, and you learned a lot, and it was a lot of fun.
So it was really an enjoyable experience, and I think anyone who takes this job and really wants to have fun with it can.
And in all honesty, it did provide some of that experience and got me out of like a stuffy like office space type deal, and it kind of like expanded my horizons overall. It was a great experience.
Perfect.